Frankly, I'm kind of ticked off about this entire situation, and I'm really sorry if you thought I was going to come on here and basically say why deep down I think this might have some truth to it, because I'm not going to do that. It's not true, you guys, and I'll tell you why I think so, and also why this conspiracy theory is possibly doing more harm than good. Please watch the entire video before you go and thumbs down it. Hey humans, it's Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I do videos on creepy and disturbing things, so if that's also your thing, consider subscribing down below. Okay, so if you don't know about what is going on or what I'm talking about, basically, there's this huge internet rumor going on about Wayfair. Wayfair is a furniture online store, and there's a huge conspiracy theory rumor going all around the internet that they are using their site to traffic missing children. This rumor originated on Reddit on July 9th of this year. Somebody had found that Wayfair was selling items for an absurdly large amount, where similar items could be found way cheaper in other places. And then people were finding that some of these pieces of really expensive furniture had names of missing children inside the titles and found in other places. And yeah, that does seem weird. And if you heard only that with no other information, that would seem very suspicious. I totally get it. And I understand why people don't believe Wayfair, because of course they made a statement saying that this isn't true, but if they were actually trafficking children, they would say it's not true. Anybody who's trafficking children are going to deny it tooth and nail. So I totally understand also why people are just not believing Wayfair when they made their statement saying it's not true. I get it. But there are many, many other reliable sources that are saying that this is a baseless claim that internet sleuths are trying to make real. Snopes.com being one of the best sources, and they are outright saying that this is false. Now let's take a really quick look at Snopes, because I know people are going to say, well, why should I trust them? Well, I looked into that as well. If you go to mediabiasfactcheck.com, which is basically a site that will check the bias, left or right bias of a news source, as well as how good they are at fact checking, they rate Snopes.com as pretty much completely non-biased with only a tiny slight left leaning, but they are also rated with high factual reporting. Just to compare, let's look at some of the other sites that you think of as pretty factual on this same website. For example, the Wall Street Journal says mostly factual and is quite right-leaning. CNN is very left and mixed factual. BBC is slightly more left than Snopes, but also high. PBS has very high factual rating with a slightly left leaning, and NPR also very high facts with a very slight left leaning. So compared to those, I'm gonna go ahead and trust Snopes and BBC. And there's the very compelling and forthcoming statement that Snopes has on their actual website. Of course, we don't expect anyone to accept us as the ultimate authority on any topic. No single source, no matter how reliable, is infallible. Anyone can make mistakes or get duped, or have a bad day at the fact-checking bureau. However, unlike so many anonymous individuals who create and spread unsigned, unsourced messages across the internet, we show our work on Snopes.com. Research materials used in the preparation of any fact check are listed so that readers who wish to verify the validity of our information may check those sources for themselves. Just click the sources button at the bottom of an article. Feeling skeptical? That's probably a good sign. Keep looking for more information. We will too. To me, this is a really great statement because they are stating that they're not just the tell-all be-all of everything, and there's a chance for anybody to be wrong. So I appreciate their honesty. So given that these reliable sources are saying that this is not true, I'm gonna believe them over self-proclaimed internet sleuths. Sorry. Now let's talk about some of the things that the conspiracy theorists have actually found and why those are probably easily debunked. First of all, it would be way too easy for somebody to accidentally buy a child. There are very rich people out there who buy expensive furniture, and if they just happen to buy one of those pieces of furniture and a child shows up instead, don't you think they would report that? And don't you think that would have happened by now? Second of all, if this were true, then it would be the dumbest way to traffic children ever. How freaking obvious. An expensive piece of furniture with a child's name? Why on earth would they make it so obvious if this was in fact happening? It would be insanely easy to track this if it were true. Meaning that if it were true, the people behind it are really big idiots, because it would be easily trackable through the Wayfair website and through then who the traffickers are. Thirdly, the FBI would be involved by now. If there was any basis to these conspiracy theories, the FBI would have investigated. They could have easily sent somebody undercover to order one of the items and make sure that it's safe, or to go to the Wayfair headquarters or facilities and make sure that there is nothing wrong. The reason they haven't done that is because there's no evidence or any actual basis to the claims that are being made. Then there's the SKU number thing. People have found that if you put the SKU number of an item into one of these certain Russian search engines, and if you add SRC USA to it, then it comes up with pictures of young females. This actually happened to be true, but they also found that any string of numbers with that same keyword comes up with the same thing on this search engine. So that does not prove that it's related to this whatsoever. This search engine was linked to a site that had distributed child pornography in the past, and that's likely why these pictures came up. But like I said, whether you put in the items number or any other string of numbers, the same thing came up. Additionally, more than 400,000 children's names are on the missing child list. So given the high number, it's really likely that there would coincidentally be some of these names on random furniture names. The Olivia shelf, for example, was connected to a missing child, Olivia Navarro, whose remains were found. She was tragically killed, so there's no way she's being sold. There's other names that people are connecting to this whole conspiracy theory where the children were either never missing in the first place or they had been found a long time ago. One woman had even done the Facebook Live to refute the claims that she was ever missing. So then what explains the actual really expensive items when comparing them to the same item that is way cheaper? Wayfair themselves said that there was just a pricing error and it was just a glitch in the system that caused these really high looking prices, which noted has happened on other websites as well. This is not specific to Wayfair. And then there was some of the items that were accurately priced according to Wayfair, but they said they took down the items temporarily because they weren't accurately explaining on the website why they were so expensive. Now, I will admit that this is the one piece of this whole thing that does seem odd to me. It does seem quite convenient to me that they are saying that it was just a glitch and that they then took a bunch of it down immediately after these claims came out. I will admit, though I don't believe that this is as sinister as people think, I will admit that that is strange, and it would be good to have some official confirmation on the claims that they're making about these really high-priced items to make sure that they're true, because even Snopes didn't kind of totally debunk that part. But in the end, Occam's razor tells us that the most likely explanation is usually the right explanation. It seems more likely that it was just pricing errors coupled with some coincidence. So let's talk about why this could do more harm than good and why we need to be very careful around conspiracy theories. Let's all not forget Pizzagate. Pizzagate was when there was that big conspiracy theory going around that a little pizza store was trafficking children somewhere in their basement or something like that. So many people thought that this was true. One man got so into the conspiracy theories that he was so convinced that children were being harmed, he went into the pizza store with a gun. Fortunately, nobody was harmed, but he was looking around, and when it was confirmed that he couldn't find any proof that this was true or there was no scared children anywhere in the restaurant, he fortunately surrendered to the police and knew that it wasn't true. So this kind of thing concerns me because sometimes if you get the wrong type of person that's also a conspiracy theorist and gets way too into this concept, they might go harm somebody in the interest of thinking they're actually helping somebody. This conspiracy is also now straining the National Human Trafficking Hotline. This hotline is already super busy with the surge of COVID for finding emergency care and shelter for people, and now they're getting lots and lots of calls with people concerned about the Wayfair conspiracy. So now they can't get to all the calls for people that are in real immediate trouble and need immediate help. I know people's intentions are honorable, and I know that they're just worried about children. I totally get that, and I think that's wonderful. But since there's no solid proof that this is true, they're just hurting other people that actually need help. So listen, I know all of this makes me seem like I just don't want it to be true, and so therefore I'm going to use my confirmation bias to prove to myself it's not true, and that's not the case. I am not totally against conspiracy theories. I've brought this up before, but in my Johnny Gosh video, I talked about why I thought that actually could be a human trafficking conspiracy that is true. Please do not think that I don't think this can happen. I totally think this can happen. I am not denying that there's real conspiracies around this, like Jeffrey Epstein, where it actually happened and children were actually being abused. And let me say, I do appreciate that everybody is so concerned for the welfare of children that there's such an uproar on something like this. I do appreciate that, and I do think that everything needs to be looked into, whether it's just a conspiracy or not. But speaking of confirmation bias, that's what I kind of think this is internet sleuths that are grasping at straws and trying to find anything to confirm their theories. Deep down, it comes from a place of being scared that children are being harmed. And again, I can appreciate that, but there's just not enough proof of any of this. Sorry, I'm a little fired up, but I get really frustrated when these big rumors go around without people taking a logical look at them. If I'm totally wrong and somebody comes up with actual proof that this is true, I will eat my words gladly. Anyway, leave a comment on this video and let me know what you think, if you agree with me or if you have some other theory as to what's happening. I'd be really interested to discuss it with you. And I will see everybody in the next one. Bye.